Go. Batman! Hi guys.
Hey.
I'm joined today by the Batman team. Do you quickly want to introduce yourselves?
Okay, I'm Jacob Sinister. I'm the director, the production designer, and the sound editor on the Batman film.
Wonderful.
I'm Ned, storyboarder, sound recordist, and finally the editor.
James, I'm writer, producer, and transitions editor.
I'm Kieran, I am DOP, logistics and colorist.
Wonderful. So I've been referring to you guys as Batman for quite a while now, but there's a lot more to it than just Batman because we're talking like 1960s Batman.
Yeah, Adam West, or Keaton, everything like that. But we've definitely gone in a different direction.
1990s Batman.
Mm-hmm.
T-Lo.
Yeah, and
George Clooney's giant nipples.
Val Kilmer as well. Rest in peace, by the way. But
Christopher Nolan's Batman.
of course, Christian Nolan.
The latest Batman.
Pattinson, best one. That's the best
Who
one.
directed that?
That would be Matt Reeves.
I think Nimble Batman's the best.
There's a number of different Batman. So, as writer and producer, James, what is your Batman? Without giving too many spoilers.
Well, our Batman, going a lot more off the sort of comic basis, so we didn't pick any one film to sort of base it off. We took aspects from a bunch of them and sort of mixed it with some more comic-y aspects and tried to get a really solid version of what the character actually is like initially. Right.
Is there any particular inspiration, you say from the comic books, is there any particular comic book you've taken?
Well, Kings of Fear, as in the title of the film, was a huge inspiration for us. So that's a really solid Batman story to a Scarecrow that we took direct inspiration from. And Long Halloween as well was one of the more classic Batman comics that we really took a lot from because of my friends.
Brilliant. I think on all the productions you've done today, pretty much you've had creative control individually. You might pull people in to help with you, but working under your direction at all times. How have you found working in the team? And I'm going to start with Kieran, but I'll ask a few of you. How have you found that process?
I had it well because we all know what roles we've got, and we all know Batman, so we're not really clashing much with the actual story and all that. And then we just get along well. So because we're also friends, we're not really disagreeing that much. Like we've disagreements, but we won't fully have a go at each other, and then we'll just talk about it, try and get it flowing.
It's good. This isn't live, is it? Could we cut the bit where he says he knows Batman? Because I don't want the public trying to track him down.
When we do, to be honest, we do debate. It's mostly me and James who debate about the story stuff because
I helped a lot with the ending.
Yeah, the initial you had some really good ideas.
Yeah, it was a really good idea.
Because
So
I cut down a lot.
yeah, it was a huge cut, but I would say with what we have now, and what we got then, I think it was really good. Actually.
Now it's almost better than what would have been filmed if it was 40 minutes long.
Yeah, very unfeasible. So
Good. I'd like to say I'm really pleased with the way you guys have worked as a team. I've watched this route happen many times. You guys are the fourth or fifth year going through it now. And you've gone through the trials and tribulations that we see every year that teams go through. The bits where there's initial bits of conflict, the bits where certain people are going in different directions, but at every twist and turn you've pulled it back together. There hasn't been any major fallings out along the way. I don't think I've had to sit in a room with you guys as a team, besides when we sat down and said, this script,
Too big.
that was huge to
Way
start
too
with,
big.
but that was feasibility, and that's just coming from an experience basis. But you guys took that on the chin really well as well, and you didn't feist it. You just went, yeah, okay, fine, that's the way it is.
I have a multi 100-page script somewhere.
Yeah, what?
I do.
we will be remastering it 100%. Do a George Lucas that like CGI and like
I mean, you guys you go to uni, right?
Yep.
So there's nothing to ever stop you, like when you go, I need an idea for a film. Oh, just as well I've got this.
I've got
50
Jacob.
page version.
Yeah, so let's all come back together. Let's do another one.
Sequel.
Yeah.
No reason not to. Like it gets better
Prince of Fear.
every time.
They do Queen and you do like Jester. We're gonna get the Joker in there. Yeah.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
You've had a lot of thanks.
What do you think has been the biggest challenge you face? I'm going to come to you with that one, Jacob, as the director.
Well, I'd say, honestly, you've thrown a lot of curveballs as a director, but I'd say it was just the challenge of getting that 40-page down to just such a minute amount without taking away the story, because obviously that was a big hit on James on trying to shave it down a lot, and also for me and the rest of the crew to kind of say to the actors, we're kind of taking this in a different direction. We have to almost take shortcuts in a sense, which we really have. I mean, not to spoil too much, but scene one of the film is actually, it's a different interpretation of a big scene we were going to do, but we've done it in a way so it's like a Tarantino film. It starts like in the middle, and then you just get the explanation of it as you go along. So it was just something that I think I just kind of threw in and said, why don't we do it like that?
Freehand.
Like just start from the middle, and then we just uncover it as it goes on. I just feel that was a big challenge, but I think it's one that we, like you said, we took on the chin and we just got on with it essentially.
I remember the very first copy of the script that you gave me. I picked it up and instantly was like, I'm not quite sure how much I'm going to break them with what.
Oh, it's so heavy. Oh my god.
You can tell straight away with like quantity we either overwrite or underwrite at the starting point. That's pretty consistent with all the years I've run this route. And I remember reading through it, and I got to that page 3 and wrote a note on it. If you get to here, you've done really well.
Yeah.
And then thinking oh, hold on a minute, there's a lot more.
There's still 30-second
scenes. Yeah, quite.
And
It was massive, wasn't it?
There was also like one section that wasn't scripted at that point either, because we were still working that out.
Yeah.
So it was a bit bigger.
There's about 8 drafts of that one.
I have 18 drafts of the script.
Yeah.
You got quite a portfolio to put together. And I'm going to ask you that as your next question. So, like, obviously, there's two different things here. From qualification perspective, you guys have got put together a portfolio that talks about your individual roles. From a personal and professional perspective, you guys have made a short film, and you're still in the process of making that short film, but very much that has been the mechanism that you guys have chosen to use to make your portfolio. How's the portfolio? How are you finding that to keep up with these things?
I think difficult. Yeah, I would say it's just been like, because of how much weight we've had to take on with obviously post-production, I guess it's left, well, what we're trying to do is we're trying to just leave a bit of like wriggle room so we can all like get the PowerPoint done. And we've given ourselves like definitely like an end date to just get the full film done, but obviously we need the time to do the PowerPoint because it's pretty much redundant if you don't do that. You need to do that because that evidences all your work and how much time you put into it. If you just got the film, then it's kind of worthless.
I actually compiled pieces of footage to a university rather than my portfolio.
Okay.
Because they called me up and they said, have you got a portfolio? And I said, not one that I'm proud of. And then they said, have you got anything else you can send? And I was like, yeah, I'll just send you scene 1 and 3 of what I've got. And they absolutely loved it. So
Brilliant.
I do need to up my portfolio a little bit.
Oh, is it just switch?
I think the term worthless, I think it's pretty bad. Because you'll still, regardless of what happens, you'll still have a great film that you've worked on, that you've worked together, you've still got all the professional experiences you've had along the way with that as well. But yeah, it's definitely a tricky balance, right?
Yeah, you've just got to you've got to find a way to put time into both of them. I guess maybe not worthless, just like you're not going to get the grade you're looking for. Is probably the best way to put it.
Yeah, there's a danger of that. We'll see what we can do when we get to that point. Mm-hmm. What are you hoping the audience feel when they watch the film?
Dread.
Fear.
Dread. Yeah, it's like. I mean, it's like Old Boy. I mean, I've come back to Old Boy like a load of times. It's one of my favorite like overseas films. Like, it's just so, it's weird, but it's like really, really like intimidating. Just the world around the main character is just so, it's awful. But I guess it's the same way with Batman. The whole world around him is awful, and that's the kind of thing we were wanting to do. And that's also reflected in the look of the film because it's grainy. It's dirty, and it looks like a 2000s found footage. So that's kind of the vibe we went for. So something like that.
I want them to leave the theatre not knowing what the bloody hell happened, and then go on social media, and then they start seeing what people have analysed during it, and then they'll go, oh, that was in there. I want them to eventually build it in there.
There's loads of Easter eggs in this film. There is so many.
They'll find them eventually. You'll find them.
There's so many we wrote in. So
okay, it's brilliant. I think. I'm not going to ask that last question because I think we've covered it. But I think from my perspective, I've been so pleased to see the way that you've taken your roles on. for starters, I think we see it quite naturally that people overstep boundaries to begin with, but you guys were really good at actually looking at what your job was at each given stage and keeping on that. I totally get that there was friction along the way with that, but each of you rose to the challenge from what I could see. The challenge that was put in front of you, each of you stepped up to that. The time commitment that you guys have put in as a team, you know, the fact you were in for Easter for the vast majority of the holidays, you know,
We're not talking about the nights we stayed up, and especially him.
yeah.
Oh my god! And the way that James stayed up to write the script for scene 4.
Yeah, 2 hours had to rewrite the entire scene.
Yeah, I mean,
there's some dedication.
there is some it's definitely one of the best scenes that we filmed, like 100%. But
That's what I'm proud of.
God, like you really knuckled down. You got it done, didn't you?
I'm proud of
Don't
that.
say that. It looks good for publicity if you hated it.
I enjoy writing.
He absolutely hated it.
Yeah, that's horrific.
So yeah, I'm really pleased with you guys and your approach towards the project. I think the grades will follow what you make regardless. Quite frankly. So yeah, very well done to you.
Thank you
very much.
And I suppose I should have a nice little sign off. Do you guys want to do the sign off?
What do we sign off with?
What I would say is that the day is darkest just before the dawn.
Oh,
French.
No.
Well, Batman?
It's a Batman quote.
Yeah.
No.